Long shown off Genshin Impact Electro 5-star Cyno has begun to have his details leaked out as 3.1 beta information slips out. Cyno is expected to be one of the new playable characters coming in the 3.1 update on September 28, making him the first playable male Electro character since Razor. This, combined with Cyno's unique design and newly leaked abilities, have made him a highly anticipated character for fans. Genshin Impact recently added the region of Sumeru and new playable characters. In 3.0, the two Denrobo users, Tonari and Kale, along with Electro Catalyst Dori, joined the playable roster. So far, the expectation for 3.1 seconds new characters is Electro Polarm Cyno, Hydro Sword Nilu, and Hydro Polarm Candace. While Cyno will have a competitive banner running against him, the hype for him seems the most popular of the three right now. Lore-wise, Cyno is known as the General Mahamatra and is responsible for any disciplinary actions needed in Sumras Academia. Cyno reads very much as someone who must be in the main DPS position to be utilized to his full potential. Through reading Cyno's talents and abilities, he is a character who wants to hit fast and crit a lot. Attack speed is built into his kit, along with some crit and elemental mastery. Mixed in with party members like Rosaria or Kazuha, who will leave lingering fields that can help trigger elemental reactions, will further boost his efficiency. Overall, Cyno looks poised to compete in an Electro element that Raiden Shogun has dominated since her release. Genshin Impact, Cyno Combat and Passive Talents. The information about Cyno is from the online Genshin database Project Amber, which says that Cyno's normal attack Invoker's Spear is a 4-strike full combo. In contrast, the charged and plunging attacks are similar to other Polarm users. Cyno's elemental skill is called Secret Rite, Chasmic Soulfarer, which will have Cyno perform a thrust that deals electro damage to all enemies in its path. Sacred Rite, Wolf Swiftness is the elemental burst and will involve Cyno becoming possessed by a spirit and entering a form called Paxworn Pathclearer. While in this form, all of Cyno's attacks will be converted to electro damage and his elemental mastery and resistance to interruption will increase. This form will disappear if Cyno is swapped off the field and lasts 18 seconds. However, if Cyno uses his elemental skill while in Paxworn Pathclearer, he will deal an area of effect electro damage and extend Paxworn's duration. Cyno will certainly want to take advantage of the best Polarms in Genshin Impact to maximize his damage. Cyno has 3 passive talents, one of which is non-combat and the Gift of Silence, which will give players 25% more rewards if Cyno is dispatched on a 20-hour expedition in Sumeru. The first combat passive is Featherfall Judgment, which will make Cyno enter a stance at times during Paxworn Pathclearer. If the elemental skill is used while Cyno is in this stance, it will trigger an effect that increases the skill's damage by 35%, as well as firing off 3 Duststalker bolts that will deal 50% electro damage of Cyno's attack. The other passive is Authority over the 9 Bows, which will increase Cyno's damage based on his elemental mastery. Those being a 100% increase for normal attacks, while in Paxworn Pathclearer and a 250% increase for the electro bolts triggered by Featherfall Judgment. Genshin Impact 3.1 leaks. Cyno's constellations are important in Genshin Impact to boost a character's power and give those added 3 levels to the skill and burst, with some characters at their best when at full constellations. Cyno will surely be a great character without having any constellations unlocked, but if players can get duplicates for him, he will be an entirely new beast. Much like his above talents, Cyno's constellations revolve around his attack speed, crit, and overall damage he can output. Constellation 1, Ordnance, Unceasing Vigil. While in Pact's Worn Path Clearer, Cyno's attack speed will increase by 20% for 10 seconds. If the effect of Featherfall Judgment activates, then the duration of the attack speed buff will refresh. Constellation 2, Ceremony, Homecoming of Spirits. When Cyno hits a normal attack, his normal attack crit rate and crit damage will increase by 3% and 6% respectively. This buff can stack 5 times, each stack has its own 4-second timer. Constellation 3, Precept, Lawful Enforcer increases Elemental Burst Sacred Rite, Wolf's Swiftness level by 3. Constellation 4, Austerity, Forbidding Guard. While in Pact's Worn Path Clearer, after Cyno triggers Electro Charged, Overloaded, Quicken, Hyper Bloom, Electro Swirl, or an Electro Crystallization reaction, some of the best and worst reactions in Genshin Impact, he will restore 3 elemental energy for his party. This can trigger 5 times throughout the burst. Constellation 5, Funerary Rite, the passing of Starlight increases Elemental Skill Secret Rite, Chasmic Soulfarer level by 3. Constellation 6, Raiment, just scales when using Elemental Burst or triggering the effect of Featherfall Judgment. Cyno will gain 4 stacks of an effect called Day of the Jackal. This effect can stack 8 times, and each stack lasts for 8 seconds. When Cyno hits an enemy with a normal attack, he will lose 1 stack and trigger a Duststalker Bolt. Genshin Impact, Cyno Ascension Material and Special Dish. Cyno's Ascension Materials are a mix between pre-existing items and new items only found in Sumeru. For pre-existing items, players will need amethyst gems and scrolls acquired by killing Samachurls. For new items, starting with the Scarab, which can be found in the desert ruins of Sumeru, and Thunderclap Fruitker, obtained from the new Electro Regizvine. Lastly, the Mudra of the Malefic General, obtained from the Guardian of Eternity, Raiden Shogun, boss fight. The talent level up book Cyno will need is the Admonition series, acquired in the Domain of Mastery, full moon on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Finally, Cyno has a signature dish in the shape of a rice pyramid dubbed Dual Souls. The meal requires 2 fowl, 2 fish, 4 rice, and 1 patisera flour to make. Once consumed, the dish will restore 34% of the character's health and then regenerate 980 health every 5 seconds for the next 30 seconds. Cyno is shaping to be a strong main DPS option for players looking for one, being a speedy attacker who will look to crit often and perform as many elemental reactions as possible. He will also benefit from most of Genshin Impact's current top-tier supporter utility characters, boosting his overall damage. While Cyno does come at the heels of a 3.0 banner that saw powerful characters as wish options, and that he will have to share an update with the new 5-star Nilou, puts him in a tough spot. However, if players can get Cyno when Genshin Impact 3.1 releases, the wishes will be well worth the return. Source: Project Amber.